The story of the human body is at once familiar and mysterious. Each of us carries one, moves within it, and experiences life entirely through it. Yet much of its inner working remains hidden from our everyday awareness. Beneath the surface of skin, behind the movement of muscles and the quiet beating of the heart, lies a network of structures that serve us tirelessly, whether we think about them or not. The organs of the body are like silent companions, faithful partners in the journey of living, carrying out their work without complaint or pause. To begin understanding them is to take a calm walk inward, noticing with gentle curiosity the quiet systems that allow us to breathe, to think, to digest, to rest, and to simply be alive. Imagine for a moment lying still, perhaps in bed at night, feeling the softness of blankets around you, the weight of your body sinking gently into rest. Beneath that stillness, a whole world continues in motion. The lungs expand and contract like two soft wings, drawing air in and out in a rhythmic cycle. The heart pulses steadily, pushing blood through a vast river network of vessels. The brain continues its watchful guidance, processing sensations and memories, even as you drift toward sleep. None of this requires your conscious effort. It is life's quiet background music, a composition that has been playing since the day you were born, and one that will continue as long as you live. The human body is sometimes described as a machine, but it is more delicate and intricate than any mechanism crafted by human hands. Machines can be turned off and on, but the body hums continuously, adjusting itself moment by moment. It is self-sustaining, self-correcting, and deeply interconnected. Every organ has a task to perform, yet no organ truly acts in isolation. Each depends on the others, communicating in ways too subtle for us to hear or see. This interconnectedness is one of the most remarkable truths about human anatomy. The heart cannot act without the lungs. The lungs depend on the nervous system. The nervous system requires constant nourishment from blood, and the blood itself is maintained by the quiet work of organs like the liver and kidneys. When we study organs, we often picture them separately: the round shape of the stomach, the twin forms of the kidneys, the delicate folds of the brain. Yet in reality, they are more like members of a great community. Each organ has its own character, its own style of work, yet all serve the same purpose: to keep the organism whole, balanced, and alive. Thinking of the body in this way helps soften the details of anatomy into something more approachable. Instead of a set of technical diagrams, we begin to see a living harmony, where each structure has its voice in the greater song of life. It is also helpful to remember that every organ begins with the smallest of building blocks. At the base of all things are cells, microscopic units of life, each performing basic tasks like producing energy, synthesizing proteins, or storing information. Groups of cells gather together to form tissues: muscle tissue, nerve tissue, connective tissue. These tissues join in careful arrangements to create an organ. The heart, for instance, is built from muscle tissue for pumping, connective tissue for support, nervous tissue for coordination, and specialized cells for regulating rhythm. This layering of complexity from cells to tissues to organs is what allows the body to handle the many varied tasks required of it. The word organ itself comes from the Greek organon, meaning tool or instrument. In this sense, each organ can be thought of as a tool shaped by nature for a specific task. The stomach is an instrument for breaking food into usable energy. The lungs are instruments for gathering air. The eyes are instruments for capturing light. And just as in an orchestra, each instrument contributes to the symphony of life. If one instrument falters, the music changes. Sometimes the other instruments adjust, covering the gap, but the song is always one of cooperation and mutual support. This idea of the body as an orchestra becomes especially clear when we consider the concept of homeostasis, the body's ability to maintain internal stability despite changes in the outer world. If you step into a cold winter night, your muscles begin to shiver, your blood vessels tighten, and your heart adjusts its rhythm, all organs responding together to maintain warmth. If you drink a glass of water, your stomach receives it, your kidneys manage the balance, and your bladder prepares for eventual release. Each small action you take sets in motion a chain of organ responses, most of which occur beyond conscious thought. The body is always seeking balance, like a candle flame steadying itself against the wind. There is also a beauty in how the organs evolve with us over the course of life. From infancy, when tiny lungs first fill with air, to adulthood, when the heart has beaten billions of times, the organs grow, adapt, and change to meet the body's needs. Some tasks, like digestion, are daily routines, repeated thousands of times without pause. Others, like reproduction, may play their central role only at specific points in life. Yet whether active or quiet, the organs remain present, their service steady and dependable. Many of us only become aware of an organ when it draws attention through discomfort, a stomach ache, a headache, a fluttering heartbeat. But beneath those rare signals, the organs are always at work, tirelessly providing the foundation for experience. To pay calm attention to them is a form of gratitude, a reminder of the silent partnership between body and self. Even as you listen to these words, your brain interprets the sound, your ears carry vibrations, your lungs continue breathing, and your heart continues its rhythm. Awareness of this inner continuity can bring not only knowledge but also a sense of quiet comfort. As we move deeper into this gentle session, we will explore each of the body's major organs, not as a list of separate items, but as a collection of companions in harmony. We will meet the skin, the largest and most visible organ, which both protects and connects us to the outer world. We will meet the heart, faithful in its pulse, and the lungs, soft and airy in their expansion. We will visit the stomach and intestines, patient in their processing, and the liver, silent in its filtering. We will spend time with the kidneys, the glands, and the organs of the senses, each with its unique form of service. And in the end, we will draw back to see the full picture. A body of organs, working as one, carrying us gently through life. The journey ahead is not one of sharp lines or clinical details, but of soft understanding, a slow and steady unfolding of appreciation for what is already within you. As you drift into relaxation, let the thought of these organs bring ease rather than effort. They are not demanding your focus or your labor. They are already doing their work. All that is required of you is quiet noticing, a calm awareness that, within the stillness of rest, a great and harmonious activity continues, steady as the stars and soft as the rhythm of breath. 2. What an organ is. An organ, in its simplest description, is a structure of the body that carries out a particular task. Yet when we linger quietly on the idea, it becomes more than a mere definition. To picture an organ is to imagine tissues of different kinds woven together, each contributing its strength so that the whole may serve the body faithfully. The heart, for example, is not made of just one material, but a blend of strong muscle, flexible connective fibers, delicate nerves, and protective linings, all arranged in layers of precision. The result is a structure that can contract rhythmically, respond to signals from the brain, and adjust its work according to the body's needs. This unity of different tissues, performing as one, is what makes an organ so remarkable. To understand what an organ is, we must first recall the order of life's building blocks. At the smallest level, there are cells, tiny units alive in their own right. A single cell can breathe, consume energy, and divide into more cells. When many similar cells gather together, they form a tissue, and when several tissues join in cooperation, they create an organ. Thus, an organ is not just a lump of matter, but a carefully layered arrangement, each piece with its role, each role contributing to the larger purpose. If we trace upward, we find that organs join with others to form systems: the digestive system, the nervous system, the respiratory system, until all of these systems come together to make a complete organism, a living person capable of thought, feeling, and movement. The word itself has a long history. Derived from the Greek word organon, it means tool or instrument. This is an image worth keeping close. Each organ is indeed an instrument, crafted not by human hands, but by the long artistry of evolution. The liver can be seen as a filter, the lungs as bellows, the stomach as a grinder, the brain as a conductor of signals. Each is a tool specialized for its work, and together they make up the toolkit of life. Yet, unlike ordinary tools that wait passively to be picked up, organs are always in motion, always active, even in sleep. The body does not rest from its duties, and its instruments never fall entirely silent. Another way to think of an organ is as a bridge between simplicity and complexity. A single cell is too small to carry out the tasks needed by the whole body. But when billions of cells join in an organ, they can accomplish work on a scale far greater. Consider the lungs. No one cell can gather enough oxygen for a body, but when countless cells arrange into alveoli, those tiny air sacs, together they create vast surfaces where air and blood meet, exchanging gases with quiet efficiency. The heart is another example. A muscle cell can contract on its own, but when joined into the layered walls of the heart, these contractions become the strong, coordinated beat that sustains life. Organs are defined not only by what they are, but by what they do. Each has a function, and it is this function that makes it recognizable. A piece of muscle may look like another, but its role within a specific arrangement defines it as part of the stomach wall, the tongue, or the heart. In this sense, an organ is not simply a shape, but a purpose. It exists to perform tasks that no other part of the body can manage quite so well. The eyes are for gathering light, the ears for receiving sound, the kidneys for balancing fluids. If one organ falters, the body may struggle, because although systems can compensate, no other structure is a perfect substitute for what has been lost. Yet organs are not rigid in their duties. Many carry out more than one task, often serving in different systems at once. The liver, for instance, participates in digestion, in detoxification, in storage of nutrients, and in the production of important proteins for blood. The skin, while protecting the body, also regulates temperature, houses sensory nerves, and even participates in vitamin production. The overlap of functions reminds us that an organ is not isolated, but a participant in a larger conversation. This sharing of duties ensures that the body remains resilient, capable of adjusting to changes, whether they come from within or from the environment outside. The boundaries of what we call an organ are sometimes softer than we might expect. The spleen, for example, lies quietly near the stomach, filtering blood and aiding the immune system. Yet for many years its role was mysterious, and even now it is often overlooked. The appendix, long thought to be useless, is now recognized as a storehouse of helpful bacteria that may support digestion. These examples show that our understanding of organs evolves with time, and what seems unimportant may in fact carry subtle value. To call something an organ, then, is also to acknowledge that the body is full of secrets, and that science reveals them gradually, piece by piece. When we look at organs, we also see the principle of specialization. Each organ has developed unique structures that suit its work perfectly. The stomach has strong muscles for churning and folds that allow it to expand with meals. The kidneys have intricate networks of filtering units called nephrons, each one like a miniature sieve. The brain is folded and layered, increasing its surface area for processing information. The eye is curved like a lens, focusing light onto sensitive cells at the back. These details of design are not accidental but have been shaped over vast stretches of time, so that the organs can serve their roles with efficiency and grace. It is comforting to think of organs not only as physical objects but as companions in daily life. The heart keeps rhythm while you walk or sleep, adjusting without request. The lungs follow you from quiet rest to laughter, always adapting. The stomach and intestines work patiently after every meal, asking only for enough time to do their work. Even when you pay no mind to them, they remain loyal. This quiet companionship is perhaps the deepest truth about what an organ is. A faithful worker that never demands recognition, only the chance to serve. As we move forward in our exploration, we will see organs not as separate items on a chart but as living tools, instruments that together make the symphony of life possible. To know what an organ is, then, is to recognize both its form and its spirit, a structure of tissues, a tool with a task, a partner in the quiet, ongoing work of living. It is this blend of physical design and ceaseless function that gives organs their meaning. And when we reflect on them with calm awareness, we come closer not only to understanding anatomy but also to appreciating the miracle of existence carried out in silence within us, moment after moment, breath after breath. 3. The orchestra of organ systems. When we think of the organs of the body, it is natural to imagine them as separate objects, each with a clear outline and a task of its own. The heart lies in the chest, the liver rests beneath the ribs, the brain sits inside the skull. Yet to truly understand the life they sustain, we must shift our view from the individual to the collective. Organs do not work in isolation, just as instruments in an orchestra do not play alone. Their beauty lies in their harmony, in the way they join their unique sounds into one unified piece. The body is not simply a collection of parts, but a carefully arranged performance, where each system of organs contributes to the melody of survival. The word system captures this harmony. An organ system is a group of organs that collaborate to carry out broad functions. Each organ plays its role, adding its own tone. But the system as a whole ensures that the body continues without interruption. Consider the digestive system. The mouth receives food, the stomach breaks it down, the intestines draw out nourishment, the liver and pancreas contribute secretions, and the kidneys help maintain balance. No one organ could manage the task alone. Together, however, they create a flowing process that transforms food into energy, sustaining every cell of the body. In the same way, the circulatory system relies on the heart to pump, the blood vessels to transport, and the blood itself to carry oxygen and nutrients. The nervous system depends on the brain as command center, the spinal cord as highway, and the nerves as countless branching paths. Each system is a team, and the body is an orchestra of teams, layered upon one another, intertwined so closely that their boundaries often blur. To appreciate this is to realize that health and life itself are never the work of one organ alone, but of many voices rising together in cooperation. The comparison to music is more than poetic. Just as instruments in an orchestra must be tuned and guided by a conductor, the organs require coordination to avoid chaos. This coordination arises through signals, nerves sending electrical impulses, hormones drifting through blood as chemical messengers, and feedback loops that ensure balance. If the body were music, the brain would be the conductor, setting pace and direction. The endocrine system would be the sheet music, providing instructions in the form of hormones that tell organs when to begin and when to pause. The immune system would be like the attentive listener, alert to any discord or intrusion, ready to respond. But unlike an orchestra where each musician waits for the conductor's signal, the body allows for improvisation. Organs can respond directly to changes without waiting for central instruction. When the stomach fills with food, stretch receptors signal it to release digestive juices. When the blood sugar rises, the pancreas responds by releasing insulin. These are moments of self-guided music, notes played instinctively to maintain harmony. It is a dance of autonomy and coordination, ensuring that the whole remains in tune. The orchestra of systems can be grouped into broad categories of function. Some systems are dedicated to control, guiding the rest of the body, such as the nervous and endocrine systems. Others are devoted to maintenance, caring for the environment within, like the digestive, respiratory, and urinary systems. Still others provide structure and support. The skeletal system that holds the body upright, the muscular system that allows movement, the integumentary system, the skin that shields and regulates. Finally, there are the systems of continuity, such as the reproductive system, which ensures that the story of life continues beyond the individual. Each group has its role, and yet they overlap constantly, blurring into one another like instruments blending in a symphony. To understand this orchestra more deeply, imagine a single moment in life, say, a quiet walk outdoors. As you step into the air, the respiratory system draws in oxygen, filling the lungs. The circulatory system carries that oxygen through the bloodstream, delivering it to muscles. The muscular system contracts and releases, moving your legs rhythmically, while the skeletal system provides the framework for support. The nervous system ensures coordination, keeping you balanced, and the sensory organs gather information. The eyes observing the path, the ears hearing distant sounds, the skin sensing the coolness of the breeze. Meanwhile, the digestive system continues its work silently from an earlier meal, and the urinary system filters waste from the blood. Even the immune system remains watchful, protecting against unseen intruders. All of this happens in harmony, moment by moment, as naturally as music flowing from many instruments at once. This harmony is perhaps most evident in the body's pursuit of homeostasis, the gentle balance of internal conditions. When the outside world changes, systems adjust together. On a hot day, the cardiovascular system directs blood closer to the skin. The sweat glands of the integumentary system release moisture, and the respiratory system increases breathing to shed heat. When cold arrives, muscles shiver to generate warmth, blood vessels tighten to preserve core temperature, and the nervous system signals the brain to create the sensation of chill, encouraging you to seek shelter. Each response is not the work of one organ alone, but of many, acting in cooperation. Even in times of stress, the orchestra responds as one. If danger appears, the nervous system triggers the adrenal glands to release hormones, quickening the heart, sharpening the senses, and preparing the muscles. The circulatory system shifts blood to where it is most needed, while the respiratory system increases intake of oxygen. Though such responses are meant for moments of survival, they demonstrate the unity of organs, each one adjusting its part to keep the body safe. The harmony of organ systems also extends into cycles that span hours, days, and even years. The circadian rhythm, the body's internal clock, guides when organs are most active. The digestive system prepares for meals. The brain shifts between wakefulness and sleep, and hormone levels rise and fall in gentle waves. Over longer stretches of time, the reproductive system follows its own cycles, ensuring renewal of life. These patterns are not random, but deeply coordinated, like repeating themes in a symphony, giving rhythm and continuity to the body's song. There is a lesson in this quiet cooperation. In an orchestra, each instrument might seem unremarkable on its own. A violin's simple bow stroke, a drum's steady beat. Yet when combined, they create something far greater than the sum of parts. In the body, too, each organ may seem small in its task, but together they sustain life in all its complexity. The kidneys filter blood continuously, the lungs move air with each breath, the heart beats thousands of times each day. These humble, repetitive tasks create the foundation for thought, movement, and experience. Without them, the music would stop. To see the body as an orchestra is to appreciate not only the function of each organ, but the beauty of their unity. It is a reminder that life is not held by one part alone, but by the seamless interplay of many, each one contributing quietly, consistently, without demand for recognition. This perspective softens the complexity of anatomy into something comforting, something almost poetic. The organs are not strangers hidden within us, but companions, voices in a grand performance that carries us gently through each day and night. As we continue this journey, we will step closer to individual members of this orchestra. We will meet the skin, the heart, the lungs, and many others, observing not only their structure, but their role in the harmony of life. For now, let the image remain clear. The body is an orchestra, and its organs are instruments tuned to the same song, a song that began before your first breath and will continue, quietly and steadily, as you rest. 4. The skin, a protective embrace. The skin is often thought of as just a covering, the surface we see when we look at our reflection, the part of us that meets the world. But when we pause to appreciate it more fully, the skin reveals itself as far more than an outer shell. It is an organ in its own right, and not just any organ, but the largest one of all, stretching across the entire body, wrapping us in a continuous and gentle embrace. This organ shields, senses, and regulates. It is the quiet guardian that stands between the inner self and the outside world, and it does so with grace so seamless that most of the time we hardly notice it. Imagine for a moment the sensation of cool air brushing against your cheek, or the warmth of sunlight resting on your arms. These experiences are possible because of the skin. Its surface is alive with nerve endings that translate touch, temperature, and pressure into feelings the brain can interpret. Without it, the world would be distant, unreachable. With it, every breeze, every drop of rain, every comforting hand resting on your shoulder becomes a vivid part of life. The skin is not simply a covering. It is a bridge, connecting the body to its surroundings, transforming physical contact into gentle awareness. The skin also plays its role as a barrier. It shields delicate tissues from harm, keeping out dust, dirt, and countless invisible organisms that float in the environment. Each square inch is layered with cells arranged to form a protective wall, one that resists invasion and holds the body's contents safely within. This wall is not rigid but flexible, bending and stretching with every movement, every gesture. It is soft enough to allow touch, yet strong enough to guard against injury. Even when scraped or cut, the skin responds with quiet determination, sealing the wound and knitting itself back together in a patient cycle of repair. Beneath the surface, the skin is organized into layers that perform different roles. The outermost layer, thin and constantly renewed, is like a living shield that refreshes itself. Dead cells are shed while new ones rise to take their place, creating a cycle of renewal that continues throughout life. Beneath this lies a thicker layer, rich with blood vessels, glands, and nerves. Here the work of sensing, nourishing, and regulating unfolds, Even deeper lies a cushion of fat and connective tissue, giving the skin its softness and helping to insulate the body. Though we often think of the skin as a flat surface, it is in truth a complex and living landscape, full of hidden activity. One of the most vital tasks of the skin is temperature regulation. When the body grows warm, tiny pores open to release sweat, and as the sweat evaporates, it carries heat away, cooling the body with gentle efficiency. At the same time, blood vessels near the surface widen, allowing heat to escape. When the body cools, the opposite happens. Sweat glands rest, blood vessels tighten, and even the fine hairs on the skin rise slightly, a vestige of our animal past, meant to trap warmth. These quiet adjustments happen continually, moment by moment, keeping the body in balance regardless of whether the sun beats down or the night air grows cold. The skin also participates in the chemistry of life. When touched by sunlight, it helps produce vitamin D, a substance essential for healthy bones and for countless processes within the body. This is a subtle but important reminder of how interconnected our organs are. The skin, while protecting and sensing, also supports growth and development through this quiet role in nutrient production. What seems like simple exposure to sunlight is, in reality, a conversation between the body and the environment, with the skin serving as the interpreter. The beauty of the skin is that it carries our story. Every freckle, every line, every mark is a record of encounters with the world. The faint traces of a scar remind us of healing, while wrinkles reflect years of expression, smiles, frowns, laughter. The skin remembers, and in remembering, it becomes a visible history of a life lived. Yet despite this history, it remains adaptive, renewing itself, shedding the old and welcoming the new, maintaining both continuity and change. The sense of touch that the skin provides is perhaps one of its most human gifts. A hand clasped in reassurance, the softness of fabric, the tickle of grass beneath bare feet. All of these are made possible by the skin's gentle sensitivity. Touch has been shown to comfort, to calm, to communicate care without words. It is through skin-to-skin contact that infants are soothed, that bonds are strengthened, that affection is shared. In this way, the skin is not just a protective layer, but an organ of connection, carrying emotional meaning through the simplest physical contact. The skin is also a communicator in another way. It changes color with emotion and with health. A blush reveals warmth or shyness, paleness can reveal fatigue, and a flush may suggest fever or exertion. Through such changes, the skin becomes a canvas on which the body's inner state is displayed. It is a silent messenger, revealing moods, feelings, and health in subtle shades and tones. Even when we say someone looks radiant or glowing, we are often describing the skin, its surface reflecting vitality from within. Though it works faithfully, the skin asks for care. It thrives when hydrated, when protected from harsh elements, when nourished by healthy circulation. A cut can heal, but scars may linger. Too much exposure to the sun may leave lasting marks. Yet even when neglected, the skin continues its service, stretching, shielding, and sensing without pause. Its loyalty is quiet but constant, and its resilience is one of the many wonders of the body. As the body's outermost organ, the skin is also the one most visible to us. It is the part we see in the mirror, the part we decorate with clothing, the part that bears the imprint of age and experience. But beneath the surface of appearance lies its truest value, a protective, sensing, regulating organ that carries us through life's journey. It is both shield and storyteller, both guardian and guide, wrapping us in a continuous embrace. When we reflect on the skin with calm awareness, we see that it is far more than we might have thought. It is not simply what we show to the world, but what connects us to it. It is not only surface, but depth, not only appearance, but function. It is, in its quiet way, a reminder of how the body protects itself, adapts, and reaches outward. And as you settle deeper into rest, you can be comforted by the thought that this protective organ, this ever-present companion, continues its work, gently, faithfully, keeping you safe, sensing your world, and holding you close in its embrace. 5. The brain, the silent conductor. The brain is often described as the most complex organ in the body, and indeed, in many ways, it is the crown of human anatomy. But rather than thinking of it as a fortress of intellect or a restless command center, we might see it as a silent conductor, guiding the body's orchestra with subtle gestures, never raising its voice, always steady in its direction. Hidden within the shelter of the skull, cushioned by membranes and fluid, the brain quietly interprets, decides, remembers, and feels, weaving every heartbeat, every thought, every sensation into the seamless experience of life. Imagine for a moment the stillness of sleep. From the outside, it appears as though nothing much is happening. The body is at rest, the eyes are closed, the limbs are still. But within, the brain continues its quiet activity. It sorts through the day's events, strengthening certain memories, letting go of others. It regulates breathing, keeps the heart beating in rhythm, and maintains the balance of countless processes. Even as you drift in dreams, the brain is awake enough to guard you, alert to the sound of danger, the touch of movement, the need to wake if something requires your attention. It never fully withdraws. It remains present, a silent watchman who never leaves his post. The brain is built from billions of cells called neurons, each one capable of sending signals to others across tiny gaps. These signals are electrical, quick and fleeting, yet they carry the weight of thought, emotion, and sensation. The neurons gather in networks, forming pathways that allow the brain to process information from every corner of the body. Some pathways carry the sounds of voices, others the colors of light, others still the awareness of pain or warmth or pressure. When combined, these pathways create the world as we know it, a tapestry of impressions stitched together into the fabric of our consciousness. The brain does not simply receive, it interprets, giving meaning to what would otherwise be streams of empty signals. The shape of the brain, with its folds and grooves, increases the surface area so that more neurons may fit within its compact space. Each region specializes in certain tasks. Some areas govern movement, others handle language, still others process vision or sound. Yet no region works entirely alone. Just as organs within the body cooperate, so too do the brain's regions, communicating constantly through bundles of nerves. When you speak, one area shapes the words, another coordinates the muscles, another listens to the sound of your own voice, and still, another considers the meaning. The act seems simple, but within the brain it is a vast choreography, countless signals flowing at once. What makes the brain extraordinary is not only its structure, but its adaptability. It learns, it changes, it reshapes itself in response to experience. This ability, called plasticity, is what allows a child to acquire language, a musician to refine skill, or a person to recover after injury. Neurons strengthen their connections when used often, and they may weaken or disappear when neglected. In this way, the brain is like a living garden, pathways flourishing where attention is directed, fading where it is not. It is a reminder that the brain is never fixed, but always in motion, always growing, always shaping itself around the life being lived. The brain is also the home of memory. Each moment experienced leaves some trace, whether fleeting or lasting. Some memories are brief, like impressions that fade as quickly as they appear. Others endure, stored for years, shaping identity and guiding decisions. Though we do not fully understand how memories are formed and stored, we know that the brain replays them in patterns of activity, like notes remembered from a song. They are not perfect recordings but living echoes, reshaped each time they are recalled. In this way, memory is less a fixed archive and more a gentle story. The brain tells itself again and again, adjusting with each retelling. Within the brain also lies the mystery of emotion, a surge of joy, a wave of sadness, the calm of contentment. All of these arise from subtle chemical signals and electrical activity. Specific structures deep within the brain are especially connected to emotion, guiding the body's responses to what is felt. The quickened heartbeat of excitement, the tears of sorrow, the warmth of affection. Each begins as a signal within the brain. Yet the experience is more than chemical. It is lived. It is felt. The brain gives rise not only to thought but to feeling, reminding us that we are not machines but living beings with inner lives rich and deep. One of the most striking features of the brain is its quiet ability to regulate the body without our awareness. It monitors levels of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the blood, adjusting breathing accordingly. It regulates hunger and thirst, prompting us to seek food or water when needed. It manages sleep, creating cycles of rest and wakefulness that keep the body refreshed. It balances hormones, keeps temperature within range, and even maintains posture without conscious thought. These are not tasks we direct with effort. They unfold in the background, allowing us to focus on the outer world, while the inner continues steadily. Despite its ceaseless activity, the brain is delicate, vulnerable to injury and disease. Yet, even in its fragility, it demonstrates resilience. People who lose one ability often discover that other parts of the brain can adapt, taking over some of the lost function. This adaptability is one of the great gifts of the organ, an expression of its determination to maintain harmony. The brain, though silent, is persistent, finding ways to keep the body moving, thinking, and feeling even in the face of challenge. In moments of calm reflection, it can be humbling to remember that all we know, all we see, all we remember, all we hope for, arises from this quiet organ. The brain does not announce itself. It does not clamor for attention. It simply does its work, shaping experience itself. To call it the conductor of the body's orchestra is fitting, for it listens, guides, and harmonizes, ensuring that each system plays in time. But unlike a conductor visible on the stage, the brain remains hidden, unseen, working faithfully behind the curtain of bone and skin. When you lie down at night and close your eyes, when you drift into the softness of sleep, it is the brain that carries you into dreams, that repairs the mind through rest, that refreshes memory and emotion. When you awaken, it is the brain that opens the senses again, greeting the day with quiet readiness. It is the most constant of companions, shaping every moment of life with patience and skill. And though it remains silent, its influence is everywhere, in every thought, every movement, every breath. The brain is not only an organ of command, it is also an organ of wonder. Its capacity to create, to imagine, to remember, to feel, is nothing less than extraordinary. To reflect on it is to feel a deep appreciation for the mystery of being alive, for the miracle of awareness itself. As you rest, it continues, ever steady, ever watchful, ever guiding, the silent conductor of the music of your life. 6. The spinal cord and nerves, gentle pathways. The brain may be the silent conductor of the body's orchestra, but it cannot reach the musicians without its network of pathways. These pathways are the spinal cord and the countless nerves that extend outward from it, spreading like branches and roots through every region of the body. If the brain is the source of direction, the spinal cord and nerves are the messengers, carrying signals with quiet speed, ensuring that every movement, every sensation, every internal adjustment flows in harmony. They form a system that is both delicate and enduring, hidden within the body, yet essential to every action of life. Imagine a single step, the simple act of placing one foot forward. Muscles contract and release in precise order. Joints shift smoothly. Balance is maintained, and the body moves forward with ease. This effortless motion is made possible by signals traveling through the nerves. The brain decides, the spinal cord transmits, and the nerves deliver instructions to the muscles. At the same time, other nerves carry information back, messages about pressure on the foot, the tilt of the body, the texture of the ground beneath. These two streams, outgoing and incoming, blend together seamlessly, creating the fluid experience of movement. Without these pathways, the brain's intentions would remain silent, never reaching the body's instruments. The spinal cord lies at the center of this system. Protected by the bones of the vertebral column, it stretches from the base of the brain downward, encased in layers of protective tissue and cushioned by fluid. It is a thick cable of nerves, organized into segments, each giving rise to pairs of spinal nerves that branch outward to serve the body. From the neck to the lower back, these nerves emerge like quiet rivers, flowing into the arms, the chest, the abdomen, and the legs. Every region of the body has its connection to the spinal cord, ensuring that no area is left without guidance or sensation. The nerves themselves are slender fibers, some as thin as a hair, yet capable of astonishing speed. They carry signals in the form of tiny electrical impulses, moving faster than thought, faster than the blink of an eye. These impulses travel along the length of the nerve, reaching from one end of the body to the other in moments. Some nerves carry motor commands, telling muscles when to contract or relax. Others carry sensory information, bringing to the brain the story of the world outside: touch, temperature, pain, vibration, and position. Together, they form a two-way highway, linking the inner command of the brain with the outer experience of the body. One of the most remarkable features of the spinal cord is its ability to act on its own, independent of the brain. These are the reflexes, automatic responses that protect the body before conscious thought can intervene. When a hand touches something hot, the signal travels to the spinal cord, which immediately sends a command back to the muscles, pulling the hand away. Only afterward does the brain receive the message and register the pain. In this way, the spinal cord provides a layer of protection, a swift guardian acting before awareness has time to catch up. These reflexes remind us that the pathways are not mere wires, but living circuits, with their own quiet intelligence. The nerves extend even into the smallest details of the body. In the fingertips, dense clusters of sensory nerves create exquisite sensitivity, allowing us to feel the difference between silk and sandpaper, to recognize shapes without seeing them, to sense warmth and coolness in subtle degrees. In the feet, nerves tell us about balance and pressure, guiding us across uneven ground. In the face, nerves carry the sensations of touch, taste, and expression, making communication and connection possible. Everywhere the nerves extend, they bring awareness, turning the physical world into a living experience. These pathways also carry signals inward, from the organs themselves. The stomach, the heart, the lungs, all send information to the brain about their state, whether full or empty, steady or quick, relaxed or strained. Most of this information never rises to conscious awareness. You do not need to think about the rhythm of your heart or the activity of your intestines. The brain receives and adjusts automatically, yet the connection is always there. A quiet dialogue between body and brain carried by the nerves. The spinal cord and nerves are supported by protective structures that ensure their safety. The bones of the spine encase the cord, forming a sturdy channel. Surrounding it are membranes that cushion and nourish, along with fluid that absorbs shocks and keeps the delicate tissue suspended in protection. Despite this shielding, the spinal cord remains vulnerable, and its importance cannot be overstated. An injury to it can disrupt communication between the brain and the body, reminding us just how central these pathways are. But even here, the body shows resilience. In some cases, new connections may form, and the brain may find alternate routes, adapting as best it can to maintain the flow of life. The nervous system also carries within it a subtle balance between activity and rest. Some nerves belong to the sympathetic system, which prepares the body for action, quickening the heart, opening the lungs, sharpening the senses. Others belong to the parasympathetic system, which calms the body, slows the heart, deepens digestion, and restores energy. These two systems weave together like alternating currents, ensuring that the body is never too tense and never too still. They form part of the gentle rhythm of life. Action and rest, readiness and renewal, each one carried along the pathways of the nerves. It is easy to forget the presence of these quiet messengers, for their work is constant and invisible. But when we pause to reflect, we see that every gesture, every step, every sensation depends upon them. The spinal cord and nerves are the threads that weave the body into one fabric, connecting the brain's silent guidance with the living actions of the body. They are the lines of communication that ensure harmony, carrying signals that never stop, day or night, in wakefulness or in sleep. When you rest, your brain may slow, but the nerves continue their flow. They carry the steady rhythm of the heart, the quiet expansion of the lungs, the shifting patterns of sleep. They remain faithful, like unseen musicians following the conductor's lead, ensuring that even in silence, the body's song continues. To reflect on them is to recognize the beauty of connection, the miracle of communication within. They are gentle pathways, fragile yet enduring, binding the parts of the body into a single whole, carrying life forward in every moment, every breath, every beat. 7. The heart. Keeper of rhythm. The heart is perhaps the most poetic of all the body's organs, spoken of not only in science but in art, in song, in countless expressions of feeling. It is the symbol of love, of courage, of life itself. Yet beyond metaphor, the heart is a real and constant organ, a pump of tireless devotion that keeps the river of blood flowing through every part of the body. It is the steady drumbeat beneath our lives, quiet enough to go unnoticed in ordinary moments, yet faithful enough to beat more than 3 billion times in the course of a lifetime. It does not rest, it does not pause for long, and it does not wait for our command. From before birth until the final breath, it carries its rhythm, keeping time for the body's great orchestra. The heart rests at the center of the chest, slightly tilted to the left, protected by the ribs and cushioned by the lungs. Though it is no larger than a closed fist, it has the strength to move blood through thousands of miles of vessels, reaching every corner of the body. Its walls are made of powerful muscle, thicker on the left side, where it must pump blood with enough force to reach the toes, the fingertips, and the crown of the head. The right side works with equal devotion, though its task is gentler, sending blood only to the lungs for renewal. In this way, the heart divides its labor, balancing power with precision, ensuring that each cycle flows smoothly. The rhythm of the heart begins not from outside but within. Tiny clusters of cells, specialized and unique, generate electrical impulses that spread through the muscle, causing it to contract in a coordinated pattern. This built-in pacemaker ensures that the heart beats without pause. Even if every connection to the brain were severed, it is a reminder that the heart carries its own rhythm within, a rhythm that is both independent and deeply connected to the rest of the body. The brain and nerves can speed it up or slow it down, but the spark itself is born in the heart's own tissues, an intrinsic flame that burns quietly from the earliest days of life. Each beat of the heart is a cycle of filling and emptying. The upper chambers, called atria, collect blood returning from the body and lungs. The lower chambers, called ventricles, contract to send blood outward, either to the lungs for oxygen or to the body for nourishment. Valves ensure that blood flows in the proper direction, opening and closing with each beat, producing the familiar sound of a heartbeat lub-dub, lub-dub, a sound that has lulled infants in the womb and reassured listeners through generations. This sound is the music of life itself, a rhythm so steady that we rarely notice it, yet so central that its absence marks the boundary between life and death. The blood carried by the heart is more than just fluid. It is the medium of exchange, transporting oxygen from the lungs, nutrients from the digestive system, hormones from the glands, and waste to be removed by the kidneys and liver. It is also a defense, carrying cells that protect against infection and clotting factors that seal wounds. The heart ensures that this vital cargo is always in motion, never stagnant, always circulating. In a single day, it may pump over 7.0 liters of blood, an astonishing feat accomplished without complaint, without fatigue, with the same steady devotion. The rhythm of the heart changes with our lives. In moments of rest, it slows, conserving energy, beating softly like the gentle ticking of a clock. In moments of exertion, it quickens, sending more blood to the muscles, more oxygen to the brain, more energy to the body. In times of fear or excitement, it races, responding to signals from the nervous system, preparing us to face whatever comes. In times of calm, it eases, steady and slow, a quiet reminder of safety. The heart is not a machine that beats at one unchanging pace. It is a living instrument, responsive and adaptive, shaping its rhythm to the needs of the moment. Throughout history, people have felt the heart as the seat of emotion, the place where joy, sorrow, love, and longing seem to reside. Scientifically, we know that emotions arise in the brain, but the sensations they cause are deeply felt in the chest. A racing heart with excitement, an ache with grief, a warmth with affection. All of these tie emotion to the physical rhythm of the heart. In this way, the symbolic heart and the real heart are intertwined, each reflecting the other, both speaking to the central role this organ plays in our human experience. The heart also carries within it a story of resilience. From the moment it first begins to beat in the developing embryo, it does not stop. Even when challenged, it adapts. If vessels are blocked, it may form new paths around them. If valves weaken, the muscle works harder. Though it may eventually grow tired, its devotion is profound. Each beat is an act of persistence, a reminder that life itself is carried in rhythm. When we pause to listen, placing a hand over the chest, feeling the quiet thump beneath the ribs, we are touching not only muscle but a miracle. This small organ, hidden and often overlooked, is the reason we can move, think, and dream. Its rhythm is the foundation of our being, the pulse that sustains every moment. We may not be aware of it most of the time, but it is always there, steady, reliable, faithful. As you lie and rest, perhaps listening in stillness, your heart continues its quiet work. It beats with the same persistence as in your waking hours, slowing gently to match the calm of sleep, yet never stopping, never faltering. Each beat carries nourishment. Each beat carries life. Each beat is a note in the song that began before your first breath and will continue until your last. It is the keeper of rhythm, the faithful drummer of your existence, steady in its devotion, silent in its service, yet central to the story of life itself. 8. The lungs. Carriers of breath. The lungs are among the most gentle and life-sustaining organs of the body, and yet they are rarely noticed until a breath becomes heavy or strained. They rest quietly in the chest, soft and spongy, expanding and contracting with each cycle of inhalation and exhalation. Unlike the steady rhythm of the heart, the rhythm of the lungs changes constantly, adjusting to the pace of activity, to the need of the moment. Each breath they draw is invisible, yet essential. They are the carriers of breath, the gateways through which oxygen enters and life continues. To imagine the lungs is to picture two great chambers filling the chest cavity, one on each side of the heart. They are not solid, but airy and light, filled with branching passages that grow smaller and smaller, like the limbs of a delicate tree. At the ends of these branches lie millions of tiny sacs called alveoli. These are the heart of the lungs' work, for it is here that the exchange takes place. Oxygen flows into the blood, and carbon dioxide flows out. This process happens quietly and without effort, yet it is repeated countless times a day, sustaining every cell in the body. The act of breathing itself is guided by the diaphragm, a wide sheet of muscle that lies beneath the lungs. With each breath in, the diaphragm contracts and moves downward, creating space for the lungs to expand. With each breath out, it relaxes and rises, gently pressing air back out. The ribs also assist, their muscles pulling upward with inhalation and settling with exhalation. These movements are subtle, automatic, and faithful. Most of the time we are unaware of them, yet they are constant companions, continuing from the first cry of birth to the final sigh of life. The lungs are not simply air-filled organs. They are the meeting place of two worlds. With every inhalation, the outside world enters us. Molecules of oxygen, carried on the breeze or the stillness of a room, travel deep into the lungs, cross into the blood, and are carried to the farthest reaches of the body. With every exhalation, waste in the form of carbon dioxide is released, returning to the air. This cycle connects us to our environment in the most intimate way. The air we breathe is shared, circulating through forests, oceans, and skies, linking all living beings in the rhythm of respiration. Oxygen, once taken in, serves as the fuel of life. Every cell requires it to produce energy, and without it, the body cannot endure. The lungs ensure that this fuel is always available, balancing supply and demand with remarkable precision. In moments of stillness, when the body requires little, the breath becomes slow and shallow. In moments of exertion, when muscles burn energy quickly, the breath deepens and quickens, drawing in more oxygen to meet the demand. This adaptability is one of the lungs' most elegant qualities. They do not hold to a rigid pattern but respond, moment by moment, to the needs of the body. The lungs also play a role in sound. It is the air they release, guided by the voice box and shaped by the mouth, that creates speech. Every word spoken, every song sung, begins with breath. The lungs provide the flow, steady and continuous, while the vocal cords vibrate to create tone. Even the quietest whisper is carried by air from the lungs. In this way, they are not only organs of survival but also organs of expression, giving us the ability to communicate, to comfort, to sing, to tell stories. Their surface is delicate, yet they are well protected. The ribs encase them, curving around to form a cage. Between the lungs and the chest wall lies a thin layer of fluid that allows them to glide smoothly as they expand and contract. This arrangement ensures that they move freely while remaining shielded from harm. And though they are soft and light, they are resilient. They withstand the constant flow of air, the countless particles inhaled, the strains of exertion, the changes of pressure. With every breath, they renew themselves, clearing away what is unneeded and drawing in what sustains. One of the quiet marvels of the lungs is their immense surface area. Though contained within the chest, the alveoli together create a surface as large as a tennis court. This vast area allows for efficient exchange of gases, ensuring that oxygen is absorbed quickly and carbon dioxide is removed just as swiftly. It is a hidden immensity, folded and tucked within the chest, invisible from the outside, yet vital within. Without this expanse, life could not be sustained for more than moments. Breathing is often taken for granted, yet it carries profound meaning. In many traditions, breath is considered the essence of life, the spirit, the force that animates the body. To breathe deeply is to connect with calm, to center oneself, to feel present. To sigh is to release, to let go of tension. To hold the breath is to pause, to wait, to feel suspense. Each of these simple actions reflects the intimate link between breath and emotion. The lungs respond not only to physical need but also to states of mind, their rhythm quickening with fear, slowing with relaxation, catching with surprise, or deepening with peace. Even in sleep, the lungs continue their gentle rhythm. They do not wait for thought or decision. They carry on faithfully, ensuring that oxygen flows and life continues. Dreams may come and go, consciousness may rise and fall, but the lungs remain steady. Their rhythm is softer than the heartbeat, less insistent, more like the tide of the sea rising, falling, rising, falling, without end. In reflecting on the lungs, it is easy to feel a quiet gratitude. Each breath drawn today is a gift, each exhalation a release. The lungs carry this cycle endlessly, asking for nothing in return. They remind us of our connection to the world, of the shared air that links all living beings, of the rhythm that sustains without effort. They are not loud. They do not call attention to themselves, but their service is constant, their devotion complete. As you rest, notice the breath as it flows in and out. Notice the rise and fall, the ease, the quiet rhythm. Behind this simple motion are the lungs, faithful carriers of breath, filling the body with life, moment by moment, without pause. They are soft, they are steady, they are gentle. They are the living bellows of existence, the organs that carry breath, that sustain the body's flame, that keep life moving with each quiet inhalation, each gentle exhalation, in an endless cycle of renewal. 9. The stomach. The patient grinder. The stomach is often imagined as a simple bag for holding food, but in truth, it is far more than a container. It is an organ of patience, rhythm, and transformation. A chamber where what we eat is gently broken down and prepared for the long journey of nourishment. It rests quietly in the upper abdomen, just below the ribs, curving like a soft pouch, hidden from sight, yet central to the process of life. Without it, the body would not be able to draw energy from the world outside. With it, the simplest meal becomes fuel for thought, for movement, for growth. It is the patient grinder, unhurried in its task, steadily turning food into the beginnings of sustenance. When food is first taken in, the journey begins not in the stomach, but in the mouth, where chewing softens and saliva begins the first stages of digestion. Yet once swallowed, the food descends through the esophagus, a long tube that leads into the waiting stomach. There, the true work begins. Muscles in the stomach wall tighten and relax in a slow rhythm, churning the contents, mixing them with digestive juices. This motion is not rushed. It is deliberate and steady, like a gentle kneading that softens and transforms. Over time, solid food becomes a semi-liquid mixture known as chyme, ready to move further into the intestines for absorption. The stomach is lined with folds, called rugae, which allow it to expand. A small meal fills only part of the chamber, but a larger feast can cause it to stretch considerably. Despite this flexibility, the stomach is not careless. Valves at its entrance and exit ensure that food does not move backward or onward before the time is right. This careful control reflects the stomach's nature. As a patient worker, it does not rush its task, but instead prepares food thoroughly, ensuring that it is broken down enough for the intestines to do their part. One of the stomach's most remarkable qualities is the strength of its digestive juices. These are made of acids and enzymes, substances capable of breaking apart proteins and releasing nutrients hidden within. The environment inside the stomach is far more acidic than almost any other part of the body, strong enough to dissolve much of what enters. Yet the stomach itself is protected by a layer of mucus, a gentle barrier that shields its walls from its own secretions. This balance of power and protection is a reminder of the stomach's wisdom. It is strong, but it is also careful, ensuring that its strength is directed outward, not inward. The work of the stomach is not limited to the mechanical and chemical. It is also deeply connected to the brain. Even before food arrives, the mere smell or sight of a meal can trigger the stomach to prepare, releasing small amounts of digestive juice in anticipation. This connection shows how closely the organs of the body communicate. The brain senses the world, the stomach prepares for what is coming, and together they create a seamless process. Hunger and satisfaction, too, are guided by signals traveling between them. The stomach stretches as it fills, and nerves carry this information to the brain, creating the sensation of fullness. In this way, the stomach is not only a grinder but also a messenger, speaking to the mind in the quiet language of sensation. Though its work is steady, the stomach also knows how to rest. Between meals, it does not sit idle, but it keeps itself clear, sweeping away remaining particles with waves of contraction. This cleaning cycle ensures that it is ready for the next meal, refreshed and prepared. Its patience extends even here, for it does not complain in emptiness but waits quietly until called upon again. When the time comes, resumes its task, unhurried, repeating the same faithful process as it has done countless times before. The stomach also reflects the individuality of each person. Some find it sensitive, responding strongly to certain foods. Others find it sturdy, able to handle a wide range of meals. Emotions, too, are felt in the stomach. Nervousness may cause a flutter, stress may bring tightness, and calm may bring ease. These sensations remind us that the stomach is not an isolated chamber but a part of the whole, responding to mind and body alike. It is not only the grinder of food but also a mirror of experience, reflecting both nourishment and emotion. In its quiet way, the stomach teaches the value of time. Digestion is not instantaneous. Food must be broken down slowly, turned and softened, dissolved and prepared. The process takes hours, and it cannot be rushed. Even the most nourishing meal must be given time to yield its benefits. This patience is not weakness but wisdom, for it ensures that nutrients are properly prepared for the intestines to absorb. The stomach shows us that transformation takes time, and that the unseen work done in quiet persistence is often the most essential. When we think of the stomach, it is easy to focus on moments of discomfort, hunger pangs, indigestion, or the unease of fullness. But beneath these rare signals lies its true nature, a loyal and tireless companion that serves without complaint, ready to receive whatever is offered, to transform it gently, and to pass it on as nourishment. Every cell in the body depends on this hidden chamber. Every thought, every movement, every breath is supported by the energy it helps to release. Its importance is vast, even though its work is quiet. As you reflect on the stomach, it may help to imagine it as a millstone, slowly grinding grain into flour, turning something solid into something usable. The process is not rushed, and the result is not immediate. But with steady persistence, it transforms raw material into the foundation of life. This is the gift of the stomach: patient grinding, patient transforming, patient preparing. Without it, the body could not sustain itself. With it, every meal, every bite, every taste is given meaning, becoming energy and strength. As you lie at rest, your stomach continues its work. If you have eaten, it is turning and churning, softening and mixing. If you are fasting, it is sweeping itself clean, preparing for what is to come. Either way, it remains faithful, steady in its purpose, patient in its rhythm. It does not ask for thanks, yet it deserves it, for its service is continuous and its devotion complete. It is the patient grinder, the chamber of transformation, the organ that turns the offerings of the world into the energy of life, moment by moment, meal by meal, always steady, always kind. 10. The intestines, the gentle absorbers. The intestines are the long, winding pathways that follow the work of the stomach, carrying the process of digestion from transformation to absorption. If the stomach is the patient grinder, turning food into a softened mixture, then the intestines are the gentle absorbers, drawing from that mixture the very essence of nourishment. They are quiet, hidden, and tireless, a labyrinth of coiled passages tucked safely within the abdomen. Though we rarely sense their work, their role is one of the most vital of all. Without them, the body could not take in the nutrients it needs, and life could not be sustained. The intestines are divided into two main parts, the small and the large, though the words can be misleading. The small intestine is not small in length, it stretches for several meters, folded upon itself in countless loops. Its name refers instead to its diameter, which is narrower than the large intestine. The small intestine is the main site of absorption, where food broken down by the stomach is slowly taken apart at the molecular level, releasing sugars, amino acids, fatty acids, vitamins, and minerals. These building blocks of life pass across the delicate walls of the intestine into the bloodstream, to be carried throughout the body. The inner surface of the small intestine is not smooth, but covered with folds, villi, and microscopic projections called microvilli. Together, these create an immense surface area, many times larger than the skin that covers the body. This vast surface allows absorption to be efficient and thorough, ensuring that as much nourishment as possible is drawn from what we eat. It is a hidden miracle, this vastness folded within us, invisible to the eye, yet essential to every act of living. Without it, the food we consume would pass through unused, and the body would remain hungry no matter how much was eaten. The journey through the small intestine is not rushed. It may take hours for food to move through its coils, time enough for the enzymes and bile to complete their work. Secretions from the pancreas and liver flow into the intestine, breaking down fats, proteins, and carbohydrates into forms that can be absorbed. Each step is deliberate, each motion slow and steady. The walls of the intestine contract in gentle waves, moving the contents forward while mixing them with fluids. It is a process of patience and persistence, a rhythm that continues day and night, unseen but constant. Once absorption is complete, what remains passes into the large intestine, also known as the colon. Here, the task changes. Most of the nutrients have already been absorbed, so the colon's role is to draw out water and salts, to compact the remaining material into waste, and to house the community of microbes that live in symbiosis with us. These microbes, numbering in the trillions, contribute quietly to our health, breaking down substances we cannot digest, producing vitamins, and influencing even the immune system. The large intestine is less about feeding the body directly, and more about maintaining balance, conserving water, and preparing for elimination. The connection between the intestines and the rest of the body is deeper than we might first imagine. The nutrients absorbed here are not only fuel for muscles and organs, but also building blocks for every cell. Proteins become part of our tissues. Sugars provide energy. Fats are stored and used. Vitamins act as helpers in countless chemical reactions. Every part of the body, from the hair on the head to the nails on the fingers, is supported by what the intestines deliver. In this way, they are the silent givers, transforming meals into life itself. Every day, without fail, the intestines are also linked to the mind in surprising ways. Within their walls lies a vast network of nerves, sometimes called the second brain. This network communicates with the central nervous system, sending signals that influence mood, hunger, and even stress. It is why emotions can be felt in the gut, why nervousness may bring fluttering, or why calm may bring ease. The conversation between the brain and the intestines is constant, a dialogue that shapes both digestion and feeling. Though we may think of thought as confined to the head, the truth is that the body's awareness extends deep into the abdomen, where the gentle absorbers are always at work. The intestines also remind us of the cycles of life. Every meal begins a journey through them, and every cycle ends with waste released, clearing the way for what comes next. They are organs of passage, of transformation, of letting go. What is useful is absorbed and made part of the body. What is not is carried away. This balance is both physical and symbolic, a rhythm of taking in and releasing, of nourishment and renewal. It is a process as old as life itself, carried out quietly within us every day. Though they serve with such faithfulness, the intestines are sensitive. They respond to what we eat, to how we live, to the states of our mind. They may grow uneasy with certain foods, or sluggish when balance is lost. They may tighten in stress or relax in calm. These reactions remind us that they are not mere tubes but living tissues, responsive, adaptive, and connected. They listen to the body and to the mind, adjusting their rhythms as needed. In their quiet way, they reflect the harmony or disharmony of our lives. When we reflect on the intestines, we may see them as humble workers, hidden away, rarely celebrated, yet central to existence. Without their patient absorption, the body would lack energy, strength, and growth. Without their gentle processing, nourishment could not flow. They do not call attention to themselves, yet they are among the most essential companions we carry. Their work is slow, steady, and constant, a quiet devotion that continues whether we notice or not. As you rest, your intestines continue their silent duty. Waves of motion ripple through them, drawing nourishment, moving what remains forward. Microbes within them continue their unseen partnership, shaping balance, contributing quietly to health. The process is ongoing, steady as the tide, faithful as the turning of the earth. The intestines ask for nothing but to be allowed to work, and in return they give everything: the fuel for thought, the energy for movement, the materials for life itself. In their hidden way, they are teachers of patience, of transformation, of letting go. They remind us that what we take in must be processed slowly, that what is useful must be absorbed carefully, and that what is no longer needed must be released without hesitation. They are the gentle absorbers, faithful and kind, carrying out their work with devotion, and in their quiet persistence, they sustain the body, moment after moment, meal after meal, life after life. 11. The faithful filter. The liver is one of the most remarkable organs of the body, vast in size and vast in responsibility, resting quietly beneath the ribs on the right side of the abdomen. It is the largest internal organ, and its work is both constant and essential. Unlike the heart, whose beat we can sometimes feel, the lungs, whose breath we can notice, the liver performs its tasks silently, hidden from awareness. Yet without it, life could not be sustained for even a single day. It is a faithful filter, a guardian and provider, tirelessly cleansing, storing, producing, and balancing. Its presence may be unnoticed, but its devotion is unending. The liver's first great role is purification. Every substance absorbed from the intestines passes first through the liver before entering the wider circulation of the body. This arrangement ensures that what we take in is carefully examined and processed. Nutrients are sorted, toxins are neutralized, and harmful substances are removed. It is as though the liver stands at a gate, allowing only what is safe to pass, protecting the body from harm. Alcohol, medications, chemicals, and countless byproducts of digestion all flow through this filter, and the liver manages them quietly, often without us ever being aware of the work being done. But the liver is more than a filter. It is also a storehouse. Within its tissues, it gathers energy in the form of glycogen, ready to be released when the body requires it. After a meal, when glucose levels are high, the liver stores the excess. Between meals, when energy begins to wane, it converts glycogen back into glucose and releases it into the bloodstream. This balance ensures that the body has a steady supply of fuel, regardless of whether food is immediately available. The liver is generous, keeping reserves for moments of need, always prepared to share. The liver also plays a vital role in digestion through the production of bile. This greenish fluid, stored in the nearby gallbladder, is released into the small intestine to help break down fats. Without bile, the absorption of fats and fat-soluble vitamins would be nearly impossible. The liver provides this substance faithfully, ensuring that nourishment is complete. The act is quiet, invisible, yet profoundly important. Every drop of bile carries with it the care of the liver, a reminder that this organ is always contributing to the greater harmony of the body. Another of the liver's quiet gifts is its role in the production of proteins. Many of the proteins that circulate in the blood, carrying hormones, clotting wounds, or supporting the immune system, are crafted here. These proteins are like tools and building blocks, sent out from the liver to serve in countless ways. Some prevent bleeding, some carry fats, some transport hormones, and others defend against infection. In this way, the liver is not only a filter but also a workshop, tirelessly crafting what the body requires to function. One of the most extraordinary qualities of the liver is its resilience. Unlike most organs, it has a remarkable capacity to regenerate. If part of it is damaged or removed, it can grow back, restoring itself to function. This ability makes the liver unique, a symbol of renewal and strength. It is as though nature has given it extra protection, knowing how central its role would be to life. Despite this resilience, the liver is not invincible, and it can be harmed by toxins or prolonged strain. Yet even then, it continues to serve as best it can, often long after other organs would have failed. The liver is also a center of balance. It manages levels of cholesterol, amino acids, and countless other substances in the blood. It converts one chemical into another, stores vitamins and minerals, and disposes of waste. It is constantly active, not in sudden bursts, but in a steady stream of processes that never end. This ceaseless work maintains the body's equilibrium, ensuring that conditions remain stable for all other organs to do their part. The liver's balance is quiet, yet it is the foundation of the body's inner harmony. Though it works so constantly, the liver gives few signs of its presence. It does not beat or contract in a way we can feel. It does not create sensations we notice in daily life. Only when it is overburdened or injured does it call attention to itself, and even then its signals are often subtle. This quietness is part of its nature. It is not an organ that demands attention or recognition. It is content to work in silence, to serve faithfully in the background, to provide for the body without complaint. The liver is also deeply symbolic. To filter, to store, to provide, to balance, these are qualities we often admire in life. The liver embodies them without fanfare, carrying out its duties not for glory but for necessity. It is a model of service, a reminder that the most important contributions are often those made without noise, without demand, without pause. It is the quiet guardian, standing between the body and the world, ensuring that what enters is safe, and that what the body needs is always available. To reflect on the liver is to recognize the hidden strength that sustains us. It is easy to overlook, tucked beneath the ribs, unseen and unfelt, yet its work touches every moment, every breath, every thought. The energy that fuels the muscles, the proteins that clot a wound, the balance of chemicals in the blood, all depend on this faithful filter. Its silence is not emptiness, but devotion. Its invisibility is not absence, but humility. The liver is always there, always working, always giving. As you rest, your liver continues its tireless service. It filters the blood, stores what is needed, releases what is lacking, creates what is missing. It does not pause, it does not tire, it does not falter. It is a quiet companion, hidden but faithful, always ensuring that the body remains balanced and well. To honor it is to recognize that life is sustained not only by the organs we notice, but also by those that serve in silence. Unseen, yet essential, the liver, the faithful filter, is a reminder of the quiet strength within. It is the unseen guardian of health, the tireless worker of balance, the patient organ of renewal. Its presence is constant, its devotion complete, and its gift is life itself. 12. The kidneys, guardians of balance. The kidneys are two small, bean-shaped organs, yet their role in the body is vast and essential. Tucked deep in the lower back, one on each side of the spine, they work quietly and without pause, filtering the blood and maintaining the delicate balance of fluids, salts, and waste within. They are not organs we can see or feel in daily life, and their work is silent, but their importance is profound. Without them, the body would quickly lose its stability. With them, balance is preserved, and life continues in steady harmony. The kidneys are guardians of balance, faithful and constant, tending to the inner world with precision and care. Each kidney is about the size of a fist, small compared to the liver or lungs, yet within them lies an intricate structure of extraordinary complexity. They are composed of about 1 million tiny filtering units called nephrons, each one a miniature system in itself. Blood enters through a web of vessels, passes through the nephron, and emerges cleansed and adjusted. What is needed is returned to the body. What is not is carried away as urine. This process happens continuously, with every drop of blood passing through the kidneys many times each day. The result is balance of water, of salts, of acids and bases, of waste products that would otherwise accumulate. The kidney's first great task is filtration. As blood flows through, water and small molecules pass into the nephron, while larger proteins and cells remain behind. This filtered fluid then moves through winding tubules, where reabsorption occurs. Here, the kidneys carefully select what to keep and what to release. Glucose, amino acids, and most of the water are returned to the blood, while waste products like urea and excess salts are carried onward. This selective process is not rigid but adaptive, changing in response to the body's needs. If water is scarce, the kidneys conserve it, producing concentrated urine. If water is abundant, they release more, producing dilute urine. In this way, they maintain the body's fluid balance with remarkable precision. Another of their quiet tasks is regulating blood pressure. Specialized cells within the kidneys sense changes in pressure and release signals that adjust the body accordingly. Through hormones, they can influence the contraction of blood vessels, the retention of salt and water, and even the production of red blood cells. This shows the kidneys not only as filters but also as communicators, sending messages throughout the body to ensure stability. Their role extends far beyond the production of urine. They are part of a larger network of control, guiding the body toward equilibrium. The kidneys are also guardians of purity. They remove substances that, if left to accumulate, would poison the body. Among these are urea, a byproduct of protein metabolism, and creatinine, a product of muscle activity. They also filter out drugs, toxins, and excess minerals. Each day, they cleanse hundreds of liters of blood, distilling it into a few liters of waste. This quiet purification is constant, unnoticed, yet vital. It is one of the reasons that the kidneys are often called the body's natural filters. The kidneys' influence extends even into the creation of blood. They release a hormone called erythropoietin, which signals the bone marrow to produce red blood cells. These cells carry oxygen to every tissue, and without them, fatigue and weakness would quickly set in. Thus, the kidneys not only cleanse but also contribute to vitality, ensuring that the body has the means to transport oxygen and sustain energy. Their guardianship is comprehensive, touching on many aspects of life, often in ways invisible to daily awareness. Despite their essential work, the kidneys are modest organs. They do not call attention to themselves, and their service is steady and reliable. Only when they are overburdened or weakened do they send signals swelling in the body, changes in urination, fatigue. Even then, they often continue working with remarkable endurance, compensating for damage, maintaining balance as best they can. Their resilience is quiet but real, and their faithfulness is one of the many quiet strengths of the body. The kidneys also reflect the principle of partnership. There are two, not one, a pair working side by side. Though one can carry the full burden if necessary, the presence of both provides balance and security. This duality is mirrored in their structure, with symmetry and cooperation built into their design. The existence of two kidneys also allows for generosity, as one can be given to another person through transplant, allowing life to continue in a new body. This capacity for sharing is another way in which the kidneys symbolize guardianship, not only for the self, but for others. The rhythm of the kidneys' work is constant, like the slow turning of a wheel. They do not beat like the heart, nor breathe like the lungs, but their cycles of filtration and reabsorption continue unceasingly. Drop by drop, they cleanse the blood, guiding balance moment by moment. Their constancy is part of the body's foundation, allowing other organs to act freely without fear of imbalance. They are like steady watchmen, standing guard over the inner waters, ensuring that purity and balance are always maintained. When we reflect on the kidneys, it is easy to feel a sense of gratitude for their silent labor. They serve without complaint, without interruption, day and night. They do not rest, yet they do not make their presence known. They are among the most faithful of organs, working in silence, unseen, yet essential. To imagine their absence is to understand their value, for without them toxins would build, fluids would swell, and life would falter. With them, balance endures, and life flows smoothly, as though tended by invisible guardians. As you rest, your kidneys continue their work. They filter and cleanse. They adjust and balance. They release what is no longer needed. They are guardians of balance, faithful in their task, tireless in their devotion. Their presence is hidden, but their service is profound. They remind us that life depends not only on the organs we notice, but also on those that serve in silence. The quiet protectors, the steadfast companions. The kidneys are such companions, guardians of balance, keepers of purity, silent sustainers of life. 13. The bladder, the reservoir of release. The bladder is a modest organ, often overlooked in discussions of the body. Yet its role is one of quiet importance. It is the reservoir of release, the chamber where the body stores liquid waste until the moment comes to let it go. Though small compared to organs like the liver or lungs, it performs a task essential to balance and comfort. It is not glamorous, and it does not call attention to itself unless it must, but its presence and function are constant companions of life. In its simplicity lies its value, for it completes the cycle of purification begun by the kidneys, holding what is no longer needed until the body is ready to part with it. The bladder rests low in the pelvis, nestled behind the bones that protect it, shaped like a hollow balloon. Its walls are made of smooth muscle, flexible and strong, able to stretch as it fills and contract when it empties. Unlike the heart, whose contractions are constant, the bladder is patient. It waits quietly, expanding as fluid enters, storing without fuss. Only when fullness grows does it begin to send signals to the brain, gentle reminders that the time for release is approaching. These signals are subtle at first, easily ignored, but they grow steadily until they can no longer be set aside. In this way, the bladder balances patience with insistence, storing until the moment is right, then urging release with quiet determination. The fluid it holds, urine, is the result of the kidney's tireless filtration. Every minute, blood passes through those guardians of balance, and water, salts, and waste products are drawn out. The bladder receives this fluid drop by drop through narrow tubes called ureters, one from each kidney. These tubes deliver their flow constantly, regardless of whether the bladder is empty or full. The bladder, then, is always ready to receive, always prepared to serve as a holding chamber until release can occur. This simple cycle, filling and emptying, is repeated countless times in a lifetime, yet it is carried out with such grace that we rarely think of it. What makes the bladder remarkable is its ability to adapt to volume. Empty, it is small and unobtrusive, but as it fills, its muscular walls stretch to accommodate more and more. A meal, a glass of water, a long wait, all of these test its patience, and it responds by expanding quietly, without complaint. When the time comes, the muscles contract, and the bladder returns to its resting size. This cycle of expansion and contraction is one of the simplest, yet most elegant rhythms in the body, a balance of holding and letting go. The process of emptying the bladder is guided by both the body and the mind. Small rings of muscle, called sphincters, guard the exit, keeping the bladder sealed until the decision is made. These sphincters are under both involuntary and voluntary control. The body may sense fullness, but the mind decides when it is acceptable to release. This cooperation between body and mind gives humans the ability to wait, to choose the moment. It is a delicate balance, a partnership of signals and decisions, showing again how deeply the organs are connected not only to the body but also to the awareness of self. The bladder also reflects cycles of life. In infancy, its control is not yet developed, and release occurs freely, guided only by reflex. With growth, the mind learns to recognize the signals, to manage them, to wait. In adulthood, this control is refined, the rhythm of storage and release woven into daily life. In age, the bladder may grow less patient, its signals more insistent, its capacity reduced. Through all these stages, it remains a constant presence, adapting to the needs and changes of the body. Emotion, too, touches the bladder's function. Stress may heighten its urgency. Calm may soothe its signals. Laughter may cause it to release suddenly. Fear may cause it to contract. These reactions remind us that even a humble organ like the bladder is connected to the greater network of mind and body, influenced by mood, state, and circumstance. It is not separate from life's experiences, but a participant in them, responding to the tides of emotion as much as to the flow of fluid. Though often overlooked, the bladder plays a role in health that is significant. By storing and then releasing urine, it allows the body to eliminate waste efficiently. If this system falters, if urine cannot be stored or released properly, the balance of the body is quickly disturbed. The bladder, then, is not a trivial chamber but an essential one, ensuring that the cycle of cleansing is completed, that what has been filtered out by the kidneys does not remain but is carried away. Its simplicity belies its importance, for without it, the purification of the body would be incomplete. There is also something symbolic in the bladder's task. To hold and to let go, these are rhythms not only of the body but of life. The bladder reminds us that both are necessary. To hold too long is uncomfortable, even harmful, while to let go too soon may be disruptive. Balance lies in patience and timing, in recognizing when to wait and when to release. In this sense, the bladder is a teacher as much as an organ, embodying in its cycle a lesson in the rhythms of life. As you rest, your bladder continues its quiet work. It fills slowly, patiently, holding without protest, signaling when needed. It does not demand constant attention, only occasional recognition. When it is time to release, between those moments, it is silent, faithful, and constant. Its task is humble but vital, its presence often unnoticed but always essential. It is a reservoir, a guardian of release, a companion in the ongoing cycle of purification that sustains the body. To reflect on the bladder is to appreciate the quiet organs, those that do not command attention but serve with simplicity and patience. It is a reminder that life depends not only on the grand and complex, but also on the small and steady, the humble companions who complete the cycle. The bladder is such an organ, simple in structure, patient in service, vital in function, a reservoir of release. It serves faithfully, quietly, ensuring that balance is maintained, that the body is cleansed. 14. The endocrine glands, the body's whispered signals. The human body is guided not only by electrical impulses from the brain and nerves, but also by chemical messengers that move more slowly, more quietly, through the bloodstream. These are hormones, and the organs that create and release them are the endocrine glands. If the nervous system is like a network of quick sparks, instant and precise, then the endocrine system is like a series of whispered messages, gentle signals that travel further, last longer, and influence the body in ways both subtle and profound. Together, These glands form a system of communication that shapes growth, energy, mood, and balance. They are the body's whispered signals, guiding from within with patience and care. The word endocrine means secreting within, and this reflects the essence of these glands. Unlike other glands, which may release substances onto the surface of the body, such as sweat or saliva, endocrine glands release directly into the blood. Their secretions are not meant for the outside world but for the body itself. Messages carried quietly through the flowing rivers of circulation to distant organs and tissues. In this way, the endocrine system is like a network of soft voices, each speaking its own message, yet all contributing to the harmony of life. At the top of this system lies a tiny but powerful structure, the pituitary gland. Nestled at the base of the brain, it is sometimes called the master gland. For many of the body's hormones are either produced here or guided by its influence. Despite its small size, no larger than a pea, it directs growth and helps regulate cycles of reproduction and energy. Its power lies not in force but in influence, a reminder that even the smallest structures can carry great importance. The thyroid gland, resting at the front of the neck, is another central member of this system. Its hormones regulate the pace of the body's metabolism, setting the rhythm at which energy is used. When its signals are strong, the body quickens, burning fuel rapidly, producing warmth and energy. When its signals are quiet, the body slows, conserving, cooling, resting. This balance is delicate, and it shows how finely tuned the endocrine whispers are. They do not shout, they adjust, shaping the body's tempo with quiet precision. Near the kidneys lie the adrenal glands, small triangular organs perched like caps upon each kidney. These glands release hormones that prepare the body for action. In moments of stress or excitement, they release adrenaline, quickening the heart, sharpening the senses, and readying the muscles. At the same time, they release hormones that help regulate salt and water balance, ensuring stability even in the face of challenge. The adrenals embody the dual nature of the endocrine system, both immediate and long-term, both protective and sustaining, both the rush of urgency and the calm of balance. The pancreas, known for its role in digestion, is also part of the endocrine family. Within it lie clusters of cells that produce insulin and glucagon, hormones that regulate the level of sugar in the blood. These signals ensure that energy is available when needed but not in excess, maintaining balance with each meal and each fast. When sugar rises, insulin calls the cells to absorb it. When sugar falls, glucagon calls the liver to release reserves. Together, they maintain a steady stream of energy, a whispering dialogue between storage and release. Other glands include the parathyroids, small but vital, which regulate calcium, ensuring that bones remain strong and that muscles, including the heart, can contract properly. The thymus, active in childhood, supports the development of the immune system. The gonads, ovaries in females and testes in males, release hormones that shape reproduction, growth, and even secondary characteristics such as voice and hair. Each of these glands contributes its own notes to the body's quiet song, none acting alone, all intertwined. The beauty of the endocrine system lies in its subtlety. Its signals are not instant, like the sharp crack of a nerve impulse, but gradual, unfolding over minutes, hours, or days. Growth, for example, is guided by hormones that act over years, shaping the body from infancy to adulthood. Cycles of reproduction, too, are measured in days and months, orchestrated by hormonal rhythms. Even the daily cycle of waking and sleeping is influenced by endocrine whispers, with glands releasing hormones that rise with dawn and fall with night, keeping the body in tune with the rhythm of the earth. Emotions, too, are touched by these glands. Feelings of calm or stress, of joy or sadness, are shaped not only by thoughts in the brain but also by the flow of hormones in the blood. A rise in cortisol during stress can sharpen alertness, while a surge of endorphins can bring ease and relief. Love, connection, and bonding are influenced by hormones such as oxytocin, released in moments of closeness. In this way, the endocrine system is not only about survival but also about experience, shaping the inner life as much as the outer. Despite their quiet power, endocrine glands remain humble. They do not make themselves known in daily awareness, and their work is not visible. Yet when they falter, the effects can be profound. Growth may stop, energy may fade, mood may shift, balance may be lost. Their silence is both their strength and their vulnerability. It reminds us that the most important forces in life are often unseen, carried not in sound or light but in the gentle currents within. To reflect on the endocrine glands is to see the body as a conversation. Nerves speak in flashes of electricity, while glands speak in whispers of chemistry. Both are needed. Both are woven together. Both ensure that life continues in harmony. The whispers of the glands may be soft, but their influence is lasting, shaping the body's growth, its energy, its cycles, its emotions. They are not forceful leaders but quiet guides, steering from within, faithful and constant. As you rest, the endocrine glands continue their whispers. They release signals that keep balance through the night, guiding the body into sleep, helping the mind to dream, preparing for the day to come. Their work is gentle, hidden, but their devotion is complete. They remind us that power does not always come with noise or speed. Sometimes it comes with patience, with subtlety, with constancy. The endocrine glands are such companions, whispering their signals quietly, shaping life with soft voices that never cease. 15. The reproductive organs, carriers of renewal. The reproductive organs hold a special place among the systems of the body. While the heart sustains life, the lungs bring breath, the stomach and intestines nourish, and the kidneys purify. The reproductive organs carry the potential to continue life itself beyond the individual. They are the carriers of renewal, the keepers of continuity, the organs that link one generation to the next. Though they are not required for personal survival, they ensure the survival of the species, making them unique among the body's structures. Their role is both biological and symbolic, representing the mystery of beginnings, the unfolding of growth, and the quiet thread that binds humanity across time. In males, the primary reproductive organs are the testes, paired structures that produce sperm and release hormones, chiefly testosterone. The sperm are tiny cells, each carrying half the blueprint of life in the form of genetic material. They are released in great numbers, millions at a time, carried through a series of ducts that eventually join with fluids from glands such as the seminal vesicles and prostate. These fluids provide nourishment and protection, forming semen, which carries the sperm outward. This process, though often unnoticed, continues steadily, a quiet preparation for the possibility of renewal. The male reproductive system is thus designed not only for production but also for delivery, ensuring that the seed of life is both created and guided on its way. In females, the primary reproductive organs are the ovaries, small almond-shaped structures that produce eggs and release hormones such as estrogen and progesterone. Unlike sperm, which are countless, eggs are finite in number, each one carrying half the genetic blueprint needed for new life. Typically, one egg matures and is released each month in a process called ovulation, traveling into the fallopian tube, where it may or may not meet a sperm. If fertilization occurs, the egg becomes the first cell of a new being, beginning its journey of growth. If not, the cycle continues, the uterus shedding its lining in preparation for the next chance. This rhythm of release and renewal is one of the most remarkable cycles in the body, a monthly preparation for potential life. The uterus, sometimes called the womb, is the central chamber of the female reproductive system. It is here that a fertilized egg may settle, embedding into the lining and beginning the process of development. The uterus expands and adapts, capable of holding and nurturing growth from a single cell to a full new life. Its muscles are strong, capable of contractions that eventually bring birth. In its quiet way, the uterus is both shelter and guide, a place where life may be protected and nourished. It is one of the most extraordinary examples of the body's adaptability, expanding over months and then returning to its original size, carrying out its role with quiet devotion. The reproductive organs are also deeply connected to the endocrine system, as hormones regulate their cycles and functions. In males, testosterone guides not only sperm production, but also physical characteristics such as muscle mass and deeper voice. In females, estrogen and progesterone regulate cycles, prepare the body for pregnancy, and influence secondary traits such as body shape and hair. These hormones also influence mood, energy, and well-being, reminding us that reproduction is not an isolated task, but part of the greater harmony of the body. The whispers of the glands and the rhythms of the reproductive organs are intertwined, shaping both physical and emotional experience. Though their biological purpose is clear, the reproductive organs carry meaning beyond biology. They are tied to intimacy, to connection, to the bonds that form between people. Through them, human beings not only reproduce but also express affection and closeness. They are part of the body's language of union, carrying both physical and emotional significance. In this sense, they are not only organs of renewal but also organs of relationship, shaping human experience in ways both subtle and profound. The reproductive organs also remind us of the passage of time. They are most active in certain stages of life. In childhood, they rest quietly, awaiting the signals of puberty. In adulthood, they become fully active, carrying out cycles and functions that may lead to new life. And in later years, they gradually quiet again, their cycles ending, their hormones shifting, their activity slowing. These changes are natural rhythms, part of the broader journey of life. They show us that the body is not static, but flows in cycles, each stage carrying its own significance. Despite their quiet work, the reproductive organs are sometimes the source of strong sensations. Desire, intimacy, and the creation of life are experiences felt not only in the body, but also in the mind and heart. In this way, they bridge the physical and the emotional, reminding us that human beings are more than biological machines. The reproductive system is not only about continuity of species, but also about the richness of connection and the depth of experience. It is easy to overlook the reproductive organs when thinking of the body's essentials, since they are not needed for the survival of an individual in the way that the heart or lungs are. But their role in the continuation of humanity and their influence on identity, emotion, and relationship make them deeply significant. They are not constant in their action. Sperm production is steady, but egg release follows a monthly rhythm. Yet their influence is continuous, shaping both body and life across time. To reflect on the reproductive organs is to reflect on the mystery of beginnings. Every person alive was once a single fertilized cell, formed through the joining of sperm and egg. From that union, through the shelter of the uterus, a body grew, organs formed, a life began. The reproductive organs carry this possibility within them, the potential for new life, the potential for continuity. They are the carriers of renewal, ensuring that humanity does not end with one generation, but flows onward into the next. As you rest, these organs continue their cycles quietly. In males, sperm are produced, released when needed, with the process renewing constantly. In females, eggs mature and cycles flow. Whether or not life begins, hormones rise and fall, rhythms continue, the body prepares and renews. This quiet work unfolds without conscious thought, without interruption, in tune with the larger harmony of the body. The reproductive organs remind us that life is not only about survival, but about renewal, about the thread that connects past, present, and future. They are humble in appearance, modest in presence, yet profound in meaning. They are the carriers of renewal, faithful companions of humanity, shaping both individual experience and the continuity of the species. They serve not only the body, but also the story of life itself, carrying forward the promise of tomorrow, quietly, faithfully, endlessly. 16. The eyes. Quiet windows of light. The eyes are often called the windows of the soul, but they are, first and foremost, the windows of light, delicate organs that allow us to perceive the world in all its detail, shape, and color. They rest gently within the sockets of the skull, small in size yet vast in importance, opening the body to the realm beyond. Through them, light is transformed into vision, and vision becomes experience. Without them, the world is still full of texture and sound and scent, but with them, the world unfolds in brightness, form, and motion. They are the body's quiet observers, always open in wakefulness, always guiding, always reflecting the beauty and complexity of life. Each eye is a sphere, round and soft, about the size of a small plum, protected by lids, lashes, and brows. These protectors keep out dust and debris, shield from sudden brightness, and spread moisture across the surface with each blink. The tear glands, too, play their part, releasing fluid that cleanses, nourishes, and comforts the eye. Though often unnoticed, these simple movements, blinking, tearing, adjusting, are constant acts of care, ensuring that the eyes remain clear and ready for their task. The body does not leave its windows unguarded. It protects them with the same quiet devotion it gives to the heart, lungs, and brain. Within the eye itself lies a landscape of structures, each with its role in the journey of light. The cornea, the clear front layer, is the first gate. It bends incoming light, guiding it inward. Behind it lies the iris, the colored ring that adjusts the size of the pupil. In bright light, the pupil narrows, reducing the flow. In dimness, it widens, inviting more light inside. This adjustment is constant, subtle, and automatic, ensuring that vision remains balanced, neither overwhelmed by brightness nor lost in darkness. The iris, in its quiet dance, is also what gives each person their unique eye color, a visible expression of individuality. Behind the pupil lies the lens, a flexible structure that bends and focuses light more precisely. With each glance, the lens changes shape, thickening for close objects, thinning for those far away. This process, known as accommodation, is so seamless that we rarely notice it. The lens works tirelessly, adjusting with each shift of gaze, ensuring that the world remains in focus, that the details of near and far are both clear. It is one of the many examples of the body's quiet precision, unseen yet unfailing. The light then travels deeper, reaching the retina at the back of the eye. Here lies the true magic of vision. The retina is a thin sheet of tissue, yet within it are millions of cells that transform light into electrical signals. These cells come in two forms: rods, which are sensitive to dim light and allow us to see in shades of gray, and cones, which are sensitive to color and detail, thriving in brightness. Together, they create a mosaic of perception, blending their signals into the rich tapestry of sight. Every image we see, every face, every tree, every star, is first captured here as patterns of light on the retina. From the retina, these signals travel along the optic nerve, a thick cable that carries them into the brain. It is here, not in the eye itself, that vision truly takes form. The brain interprets the signals, stitches them together, fills in gaps, and transforms them into meaningful images. This process is so smooth, so immediate, that we forget it is happening. We believe we simply see, when in truth we are experiencing a complex partnership between the eyes and the brain, a partnership that turns light into awareness, reflection into recognition. The eyes are not only organs of sight, they are also organs of expression. They reflect emotion, often more clearly than words. Joy, sadness, fear, love. These feelings can be read in the eyes, in their brightness or dimness, in their openness or narrowing. They are mirrors of the inner world, revealing what lies within without the need for speech. A glance can comfort, a gaze can connect, and a tear can express more than sentences ever could. In this way, the eyes are not only windows of light but also windows of connection, joining people to one another in the silent language of emotion. The eyes also reveal the passage of time. In youth, they are clear, the lenses flexible, the vision sharp. With age, the lenses may stiffen, the clarity may dim, and the retina may grow less sensitive. Yet even as changes occur, the eyes remain faithful companions, adapting as best they can, aided by the brain's remarkable ability to adjust. Glasses, magnifiers, and modern aids may help, but the essence remains the same. The eyes continue their service, guiding, observing, and connecting. In darkness, the eyes reveal their patience. Vision fades, colors disappear, and the world becomes shades of gray. Yet within moments, the rods of the retina awaken, adjusting to the dimness, making use of even the faintest light. This adaptation is a reminder of their resilience, their readiness to serve in all conditions. Whether in the blaze of sunlight or the stillness of night, the eyes remain watchful, adjusting their sensitivity to match the world. The eyes are also deeply symbolic in human thought. They are associated with perception, knowledge, awareness. To see clearly is to understand. To be blind is to be unaware. Cultures throughout history have seen the eyes as sacred, symbols of truth, of vigilance, of the soul itself. This symbolism arises not only from their function but from their intimacy. To look into another's eyes is to feel a closeness, to sense something beyond surface. They are organs of vision, but also organs of meaning, woven into the human sense of self and connection. Despite their delicacy, the eyes are resilient. They endure constant exposure to light, dust, dryness, and strain. They protect themselves with lids and tears. They rest in sleep. They adapt to endless shifts in focus. They serve faithfully, often without notice, carrying out one of the most extraordinary transformations in the body, turning light into vision, turning the world outside into the experience inside. As you rest, your eyes also rest, closed and still, shielded from light. Yet even in sleep they remain aware, moving in dreams, sensing brightness at dawn, preparing for wakefulness. They are never entirely silent, for their work continues even in the unconscious hours, guiding the rhythms of the body through their connection to light and darkness. They are guardians of awareness, companions in life, windows of light that never truly close. To reflect on the eyes is to recognize the wonder of perception. They are small, fragile, and easily overlooked, yet through them, we experience much of the world's richness. They are organs of light, organs of connection, organs of meaning. They remind us that the body is not only about survival, but also about awareness, beauty, and relationship. Quiet windows of light, they stand open to the world, steady in their service, constant in their devotion, bringing life not only to the body, but also to the experience of being alive. 17. The ears. Silent catchers of sound. The ears are delicate structures, yet their gift to us is immeasurable. They are the organs of hearing, the catchers of sound, the gateways through which the vibrations of the world are transformed into meaning. They rest quietly on each side of the head, visible in their outer folds and hidden in their deeper chambers, always open, always attentive. Unlike the eyes, which close in sleep, the ears never shut. They listen in silence, catching every whisper, every echo, every note of music, every voice that carries across space. They are constant companions, always aware, always ready, translating the unseen waves of sound into the living experience of hearing. The outer ear is the first part we see, the curved shell, with its ridges and folds, designed to gather sound waves and funnel them inward. These folds are not random. Their shape helps capture sounds from the environment, guiding them into the ear canal. Each outer ear is unique, its form shaped by genetics and life, but all serve the same purpose: to collect the vibrations of air and carry them toward the hidden depths within. The ear canal, a narrow passage, amplifies and directs the sound until it meets the eardrum, a thin and delicate membrane stretched across the inner end. The eardrum is where the magic of hearing truly begins. When sound waves strike it, it vibrates, moving back and forth in perfect rhythm with the waves. These vibrations are incredibly small, yet they carry the essence of every sound: the pitch, the volume, the texture. From the eardrum, the vibrations pass to 3 tiny bones in the middle ear, the smallest bones in the human body. They are named the hammer, the anvil, and the stirrup, and together they amplify the sound, carrying it onward to the inner ear. This chain of bone is a marvel of delicacy and precision, moving with such subtlety that we do not notice it, yet without it hearing would be faint and weak. Beyond the middle ear lies the inner ear, where the cochlea resides. The cochlea is a spiral-shaped chamber, coiled like a seashell, filled with fluid and lined with thousands of tiny hair cells. When vibrations enter, they create waves in the fluid, and these waves bend the hair cells. Each hair cell is tuned to a specific frequency, so some respond to low, deep sounds, while others respond to high, sharp ones. Together, they cover the full range of human hearing, transforming vibrations into electrical signals that travel along the auditory nerve to the brain. It is there, in the brain, that sound becomes perception, that vibration becomes voice, music, laughter, or silence. The ears do more than hear. They are also organs of balance. Beside the cochlea lies another set of chambers, the vestibular system, filled with fluid and lined with sensors. These detect the movement of the head, the tilt of the body, the acceleration of motion. With each step, each turn, each bend, the vestibular system informs the brain where the body is in space. Without it, balance would be uncertain, walking would be unsteady, and movement would falter. This hidden role of the ears is as important as hearing itself, for it allows us to move gracefully, to stand upright, to turn without falling. The ears are also sensitive to time. Hearing allows us to sense rhythm, to notice the beat of music, the cadence of speech, the flow of conversation. Sound unfolds in sequence, one note after another, and the ears carry this stream faithfully. Through them we recognize patterns, remember melodies, and share stories. They are the organs that connect us not only to the world outside but also to one another. For much of human connection is carried in sound, the tone of a voice, the warmth of laughter, the softness of a whisper. Despite their delicacy, the ears endure constant exposure. They receive sounds of every kind, from the gentlest rustle of leaves to the roar of storms. They adapt, adjusting their sensitivity to protect from damage, becoming less responsive to overwhelming volume, more sensitive in quiet. This adaptability allows them to serve in all conditions, from silence to noise, from stillness to motion. Yet their fragility remains, and when harmed, they may not fully recover. This reminds us of their preciousness, of the need to protect the quiet organs that serve us so faithfully. The ears are also tied to memory. A sound once heard can linger for a lifetime. The voice of a loved one, the melody of a song, the call of birds at dawn. Hearing connects us to the past, carrying with it emotion and meaning. A single sound can bring back a memory as vividly as sight or scent. In this way, the ears are not only organs of the present, but also vessels of remembrance, linking us to what has been, as well as to what island. In sleep, the ears continue their work. While the eyes close and the body rests, the ears remain open, listening to the quiet of the night, alert to important sounds. A sudden noise may wake us, a signal of potential danger, while softer sounds may weave into dreams. They are guardians as well as listeners, keeping watch even in unconsciousness, ensuring that the body remains aware of its surroundings. Their constancy is a quiet form of protection, as steady as the heartbeat and the breath. Symbolically, the ears represent listening, understanding, and connection. To truly hear is more than to detect sound. It is to attend, to interpret, to care. The ears make this possible, providing the foundation for communication and relationship. They remind us that life is not only about speaking but also about listening, not only about expressing but also about receiving. In this way, they are teachers as well as organs, guiding us in the art of attention and presence. To reflect on the ears is to recognize their quiet service. They are small, fragile, hidden for the most part, yet their influence is immense. They give us sound, balance, rhythm, memory, connection. They catch the whispers of the world and bring them inside, where the brain gives them meaning. They are silent themselves, yet they make sound possible. They are ever open, ever ready, ever faithful. As you rest, your ears rest with you, but they do not close. They remain open to the gentle sounds around you, to the rhythm of breath, to the silence of the night. They are the silent catchers of sound, faithful companions, delicate and constant. They remind us that life is carried not only in sight or touch, but also in the unseen waves that move through the air, waves that they alone can capture and deliver. In their devotion, they bring the world closer, moment by moment, sound by sound, in a quiet service that never ends. 18. The nose and tongue. Senses of flavor and breath. The nose and the tongue are paired in their service to the body, working together to bring the richness of flavor and the awareness of scent. They are modest in size, yet they carry the power to shape our experience of the world in profound ways. A meal is not only nourishment, but also taste. The air is not only breath, but also fragrance. Through the nose and the tongue, we are connected more deeply to our surroundings, not only sustaining the body, but also enriching life with subtleties of sensation. They are organs of survival, but also organs of enjoyment, giving us the ability to savor, to notice, to connect with the world through the quiet senses of flavor and breath. The nose rests at the center of the face, a familiar feature, yet beneath its outward form lies a complex structure. With every inhalation, air passes through its passages, warmed and moistened before it reaches the lungs. Tiny hairs and a lining of mucus trap dust and particles, protecting the delicate tissues within. In this way, the nose serves as the guardian of the breath, ensuring that what enters is softened and cleansed. Yet beyond this protective role, the nose is also the organ of smell, carrying within it the ability to detect and interpret the vast array of scents that drift through the world. Deep inside the nasal cavity lies a patch of specialized tissue called the olfactory epithelium. Here, millions of sensory cells await, each one equipped with receptors that bind to odor molecules. When air is drawn in, these molecules attach to the receptors, triggering signals that travel along the olfactory nerve to the brain. The brain then interprets these signals, transforming chemical interactions into the perception of scent. A rose, a fire, fresh rain, warm bread, each has its unique signature, recognized by the brain through the whispers of the nose. The sense of smell is closely tied to memory and emotion. A single fragrance can bring back a moment long past, vivid and immediate, as though time has folded upon itself. The smell of a childhood home, the perfume of a loved one, the scent of the sea, all can awaken feelings and images with a power unmatched by sight or sound. This is because the pathways of smell connect directly to areas of the brain involved in memory and emotion, weaving scent into the fabric of experience. The nose is not only an organ of detection but also of remembrance, linking the present to the past through the quiet thread of fragrance. The tongue, meanwhile, is the organ of taste, though it also plays a role in speech and in the movement of food. Its most familiar gift is the ability to perceive flavor. Its surface is covered with tiny bumps called papillae, within which lie taste buds, clusters of sensory cells that respond to chemicals in food. These taste buds are sensitive to 5 primary qualities: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami, the savory taste associated with proteins. Each of these qualities serves a purpose. Sweetness signals energy, sourness warns of spoilage, saltiness indicates minerals, bitterness alerts to potential toxins, and umami signals nourishment. Together, they guide us toward what is good for the body and away from what may harm. Taste and smell are partners. Flavor is not created by taste alone, but by the combination of signals from both the tongue and the nose. When food is chewed, molecules are released, not only onto the tongue, but also into the airways behind the mouth, where they rise into the nasal cavity. It is this blend of taste and smell that creates the full experience of flavor. Without smell, taste would be limited, reduced to its basic categories. With smell, it becomes complex and varied, capable of distinguishing the subtleties between an apple and a pear, between cinnamon and nutmeg, between herbs and spices. The tongue and nose together transform eating into an experience of richness, not just of fuel, but of delight. The tongue's role extends beyond taste. It is a muscular organ, flexible and strong, moving food in the mouth, shaping it for swallowing, and aiding in speech. With its endless range of motion, it contributes to the sounds of language, allowing humans to communicate with clarity and nuance. Yet even here, its service is quiet, its movements so natural that we forget how extraordinary they are. It shifts, presses, shapes, and balances, always adapting, always responsive. The nose, too, has tasks beyond scent. It helps shape the sound of the voice, giving resonance and tone as air passes through its passages. It also plays a role in temperature regulation, conserving moisture and warmth in the breath. These quiet functions, though easily overlooked, are part of the harmony of life, showing again that every organ carries layers of meaning and purpose. Together, the nose and tongue shape some of the most intimate experiences of life. The enjoyment of food, the awareness of surroundings, the comfort of familiar scents, the pleasure of flavors shared. They also serve in survival, warning of dangers such as smoke, spoiled food, or toxic substances. Their partnership blends necessity and enjoyment, protection and delight, grounding us in the physical world while also enriching the sensory landscape. Symbolically, these organs remind us of presence. To smell is to notice, to taste is to savor. They teach us to be attentive to the moment, to the air around us, to the food before us. They connect us not only to survival but also to gratitude, for through them, even simple acts like breathing and eating become experiences of richness. A breath of fresh air, a sip of water, a bite of bread through the nose and tongue. These become moments of quiet joy. As you rest, your nose and tongue continue their service. The nose keeps breathing steady, filtering and warming the air. Even in sleep, it remains alert, capable of sensing smoke or other dangers. The tongue rests, but it will rise again with speech, with taste, with movement. They are faithful companions, modest in form, but essential in function, always present, always serving. The nose and tongue, the senses of flavor and breath, are humble but profound. They remind us that life is not only about survival but also about richness, about savoring the world, about noticing its subtleties. They are the quiet companions that bring depth to the simplest of acts, making every breath, every bite, every scent a moment of connection to life itself. 19. The harmony of interconnection. When we have looked at the organs of the body one by one, the skin, the brain, the heart, the lungs, the stomach, the intestines, and all the others, it is tempting to think of them as separate, each performing its own task in isolation. Yet this is not the truth of the body. The organs are not solitary workers, but members of a great community, woven together by threads of blood, nerves, hormones, and shared purpose. Their harmony of interconnection is what makes life possible. Each depends on the others, each contributes to the whole, and together they form a unity that is greater than the sum of its parts. The heart, for instance, cannot serve alone. Its rhythm, steady and faithful, would be useless without the lungs, which bring oxygen into the blood it pumps. The lungs, in turn, would fail without the muscles and nerves that drive their expansion and contraction. The stomach and intestines prepare nourishment, but their work is meaningless without the liver to filter, the pancreas to release enzymes, the kidneys to balance, and the blood to carry nutrients throughout the body. The brain guides and interprets, but it relies on the heart for fuel, the lungs for breath, and the senses for information. Each organ is a thread, and life is the tapestry woven from their interconnection. This interdependence is maintained by systems of communication. The nervous system carries rapid signals, telling the heart to quicken, the lungs to deepen, the stomach to churn. The endocrine system whispers through hormones, guiding cycles of growth, reproduction, and balance. The circulatory system carries oxygen, nutrients, and signals to every cell, linking distant organs in a single flow. These systems overlap and reinforce one another, ensuring that no organ works blindly, that each is informed by the state of the whole. The harmony of interconnection is not rigid but fluid, always adjusting, always adapting to the changing needs of the body. Consider the simple act of eating a meal. The eyes see the food, the nose detects its aroma, the tongue tastes its flavors. These sensory signals travel to the brain, which anticipates nourishment and prepares the body. The stomach releases juices, the pancreas readies enzymes, the liver adjusts its flow of bile. As food enters, the intestines absorb, the blood carries, the kidneys filter, and the cells of the body receive their energy. Even the heart and lungs adjust, supporting the increased activity with more oxygen and faster circulation. A simple meal is not the work of one organ but a symphony of many, each playing its part, each dependent on the others. The same harmony can be seen in moments of exertion. When the body runs, the muscles require energy and oxygen. The lungs breathe deeper, the heart beats faster, the liver releases stored glucose, the kidneys adjust fluid balance, the skin sweats to cool, the nervous system coordinates movement, the senses guide direction, the brain maintains balance and focus. All of these organs act together, not because they planned it, but because their interconnection makes such cooperation natural. No single organ decides. The body as a whole responds, its harmony automatic, its cooperation instinctive. Even in rest, the interconnection is present. The brain signals sleep, but the heart continues its rhythm. The lungs, their breath, the stomach and intestines, their quiet processing. The endocrine glands release hormones that guide repair and renewal. The kidneys continue their filtering. The liver maintains its balance. Each organ works at its own pace, but none withdraws entirely. The body never fully stops. Its community continues, steady and silent, even as the mind drifts into dreams. This harmony is also a form of resilience. If one organ falters, others often adapt. If the lungs are weakened, the heart may beat harder to deliver more oxygen. If one kidney fails, the other may enlarge and take on the burden. If part of the liver is damaged, it can regenerate. The body supports itself, organs adjusting to protect the whole. Yet this resilience has limits, and it reveals how much each organ depends on the others. When the harmony is broken, when too many parts falter, the whole is threatened. This is why the interconnection must be preserved, why balance must be maintained. The organs are not only connected within the body but also to the world beyond. The lungs draw air from the atmosphere. The stomach and intestines receive food from the earth. The skin senses the environment. The eyes and ears open to light and sound. The body is not sealed but permeable, in constant exchange with its surroundings. This interconnection extends the harmony outward, reminding us that life within is sustained by life without. The organs serve not only themselves but also the greater cycle of nature, drawing from it and returning to it in every breath, every meal, every motion. In many ways, the harmony of interconnection mirrors the harmony of community in human life. Just as organs serve one another, so too do people depend on one another, each contributing to the whole, each receiving in turn. No organ can survive alone, and no person can thrive in isolation. The lesson of the body is the lesson of interconnection, that strength lies not in independence but in cooperation, in unity, in balance. The body is a living example of this truth, carrying it within every moment of existence. To reflect on this harmony is to feel a sense of calm gratitude. Each heartbeat, each breath, each movement is the result of countless organs working together, unseen and unnoticed. The body does not demand our awareness of this harmony. It carries it out silently, faithfully, day after day. Yet when we pause to notice, the interconnection becomes a source of wonder, a reminder of the quiet miracle of being alive. As you rest, this harmony continues. The heart beats, the lungs breathe, the liver filters, the kidneys balance, the brain dreams, the glands whisper, the senses remain watchful. Each organ plays its part, each contributes to the whole, each supports the others, The body is never truly still. It is always alive, always connected, always in harmony. This interconnection is the essence of life, the quiet song of the organs working as one, steady and gentle, sustaining you through every moment, every breath, every beat. 20. Gentle closing reflections. As we come to the end of this quiet journey through the organs of the human body, it is natural to pause and let the sense of wonder settle. We have moved slowly, one organ at a time, exploring the heart that beats, the lungs that breathe, the stomach that grinds, the kidneys that balance, the brain that conducts, and many others that serve faithfully in silence. Each organ has revealed its character, its patience, its resilience, its devotion. Together, they have shown us that the body is not merely a collection of parts, but a living symphony, a harmony of form and function that sustains life without ceasing. These closing reflections are not a summary of facts, but a soft reminder of the beauty that lies within, always present, always working, even as you rest. The body is an intricate design, but it is also simple in its devotion. Each organ does not act for itself, but for the whole. The heart does not beat for the sake of the heart, but to send blood to every corner of the body. The lungs do not breathe only for themselves, but to bring oxygen to the cells that wait. The stomach does not digest for its own nourishment, but for the body's strength. This quiet selflessness is the nature of the body's harmony. No organ demands recognition. No organ asks for praise. They simply serve, steady and constant, forming the foundation of life with their unseen labor. To reflect on this is to see that life itself is sustained by small, patient acts. Each breath, each beat, each release of a hormone, each wave of motion in the intestines. These are gentle acts, unremarkable on their own, but together they weave the fabric of existence. The body does not survive by grand gestures, but by endless devotion in the smallest of moments. It is a lesson as much as an observation, that continuity, stability, and resilience are found in quiet persistence. In this reflection, we may also notice the way the body mirrors the greater world. Just as the organs work together, so too does nature. The air we breathe comes from trees and plants, the food we eat from earth and water, the warmth we feel from the sunday. The body does not live apart from these, but in connection with them. The lungs are tied to forests, the stomach to soil, the heart to rivers of circulation, like the rivers of the earth. The harmony within is a reflection of the harmony without, each one supporting and shaping the other. Life is not a closed system, but an open circle, drawing from the world and returning to it in every breath, every step, every heartbeat. The organs also remind us of resilience. We have seen how the liver can regenerate, how the kidneys can compensate, how the heart adjusts its rhythm, how the lungs expand and contract to meet demand. Even when challenged, the body seeks balance, finding ways to continue, to adapt, to endure. This resilience is quiet, not dramatic, not shouted. It is found in persistence, in gentle adjustment, in the steady effort to sustain. To know this is to feel a sense of reassurance. The body does not give up easily. It strives for harmony. There is, too, the reminder of fragility. The organs, for all their devotion, can falter. They can tire. They can be injured. They can wear with time. Yet even this fragility is part of their beauty, for it reveals their humanity. They are not machines of perfection, but living tissues, vulnerable and strong at once. Their fragility asks us to treat them with kindness, to care for them with nourishment, rest, and balance. It is a gentle invitation, not a demand, for the body serves us faithfully regardless. But in recognizing its fragility, we may also recognize our responsibility to support its quiet work. In these closing thoughts, it is worth returning to the rhythm that has carried us through this journey. The steady beat of the heart, the rise and fall of the lungs, the patient work of the stomach, the flowing balance of the kidneys. All of these rhythms form a song, soft and continuous. It is the song of life, carried within each person, unique in detail but shared in essence. It is a song we do not compose consciously, but one that plays within us nonetheless. To rest is to trust that this song continues, faithful and steady, carrying us through sleep, through waking, through each day of life. The organs, in their silence, teach us the value of humility. They are not seen, yet they sustain. They are not noticed, yet they provide. They do not seek recognition, yet they are essential. In this way, they reflect qualities of service, patience, and devotion that extend beyond anatomy. They remind us that the most important forces are often the quietest, the most enduring acts, the simplest, the deepest strength, the gentlest. To reflect on the organs is to reflect on these truths, carried not in abstraction but in the very structure of our being. And so, in this gentle close, we rest with the knowledge that the body is a faithful companion. From the skin that shields to the brain that guides, from the heart that beats to the lungs that breathe, from the stomach that grinds to the kidneys that cleanse, each organ serves with devotion. The harmony of their interconnection is the essence of life. It continues now, as you rest, steady and calm, without demand for your attention. You may let go, trusting that the body carries on, faithful in its work, gentle in its song. As sleep deepens, the organs continue their service. The heart keeps rhythm, the lungs rise and fall, the liver filters, the kidneys balance, the brain dreams. The body remains alive in every part, even as the mind drifts into quiet. The song of life does not stop, it continues, soft and steady, carrying you through the night. In this way, the organs are not only companions in waking life but also guardians of rest, ensuring that the body remains in harmony even when you are unaware. The closing reflection, then, is not an ending, but a continuation. The body's work never ceases, its devotion never ends. As you settle into stillness, know that within you, a vast community of organs continues faithfully, sustaining, renewing, balancing, protecting. They are the silent workers, the quiet guardians, the devoted companions. And as they serve, they remind us of the wonder of life, itself fragile, resilient, humble, profound. The organs are the hidden foundation of this wonder, and in their harmony lies the quiet miracle of being alive.